Guys, what is going on? We are back with another YouTube and Instagram live here on Thursday at 7 p.m. As always, if you're thinking about buying or selling a home, definitely shoot me a message, whether it's on Instagram or here on YouTube. Give me a shout out. Let me know where you guys are watching from right now in the DMV area. I want to know where you guys are watching from. We have a bunch of people jumping on from YouTube and from Instagram. Tonight, we're going to be answering some questions. I'm going to be talking to you guys about homes in the DMV area for under 500,000 and if that even exists. So definitely North Carolina. Are you thinking about moving up here? We got Sterling, VA, South Riding, Manassas. Ton of people from Manassas, Woodbridge. If you live in Prince William County, I don't know if you just saw that they're basically tripling the data centers tax rates. Arlington, Virginia, Chantilly, Sterling, Reston, Avery, Colgan. What's up, my Haymarket, Reston, Clifton, Arlington, Fairfax, if possible. Guys, I want to show you one thing really quick. Falls Church, Fairfax, McLean's, a ton of people watching here locally in the DMV. Frederick, Centerville, 20111. A ton of people from Manassas, man. What is going on, Manassas? You know, Colgan High School is definitely the best high school in the world. One Loudoun, what is up? What real estate questions do you guys have? One of the things I want to show you really quick, Zillow dropped some market forecast. And I wanted to see what they thought about our area. And they just said what they thought our area would be in next year. And they basically said the DMV region would just pretty much be even. They didn't really think the prices were going to go down or up. And so I kind of tried to see if they maybe did it a little bit deeper, but they didn't. They do think the Richmond, Virginia market's going to go up 2.2%. And then they think Baltimore, Maryland's going to go down 0.5%. So I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about that. We've already got some questions coming in. Where are these 500K houses in VA? And I can't find any. Someone just asked. I've got a bunch of other questions I'll definitely get on. So really quick, I'm on the MLS right now. So this is what you guys see if you're like on Zillow or Redfin. You're getting data. What's up from Manassas Park? There's only 28 single families for sale under 500,000 in all of Northern Virginia. One right here, somebody labeled wrong. It's a townhouse. So you can see Manassas, Woodbridge, Leesburg, Manassas. That's going to be Sudley. This is actually like a foreclosure, it looks like, which is pretty rare anymore. So there's not many like single families under 500,000. As a lot of it's going to be older homes in like Sterling, Woodbridge, Manassas, Lovettsville that need some type of work. So there's not too many under 500,000. If we go look at townhomes, well, something from not far away in the middle of nowhere. Now that can be definitely tough. Look at townhomes. There's only 55. So under 500,000, you're talking Sterling, McLean, Woodbridge, Dumfries, all kinds, a lot of things in Woodbridge, Centerville. So as far as like under 500,000, there is some new construction over in Manassas as well. The problem is though, once you start to get into the condo market, and anything that has above like 4 levels, then you start to talk about like high condo fees. It's harder to get a loan because there's elevators involved. So it can be a lot more different. So where am I looking at? This is actually the MLS that realtors pay for. So what area is safer, Woodbridge or Fredericksburg? I don't really, niche.com is a good area to kind of go on and ask one of those. I feel like they're probably about the same, I would guess. But basically, Fredericksburg, a little bit further down 95, Woodbridge, Woodbridge. They're both, I guess they're both about the same. Somebody said they have the same poster. What other questions do you guys have for me? When are the interest rates going to get lower? I think burying the election is going to make a huge impact on it. Currently, the job market numbers keep getting better and better, and they want that to go down. So that is definitely playing a huge effect in the interest rates. But it sucks when they're at 7.5%, right? It's tough if you're locked into a 2.5% and then you want to sell and then buy and get into a 7.5%. Someone said Fredericksburg is definitely cheaper. But I mean, like if we go look, right, and let's go look at the condo market if I was to say, hey, what's under 500,000, now keep in mind, if you're going to buy something, then you get into a condo. I usually look at more of like these garden 1 to 4 floors, or like let's do condominiums. There's over 304 under 500,000. So not a lot of there's a lot of condos, but not a lot. The problem is some of the dues can definitely get really out of control. And so when you're looking under like 500, you definitely want to keep that in mind. That's going to play a big part into your home buying, your mortgage payment. Because some of these condo associations are $400, $500, $600 a month. What's up? Anybody on YouTube, definitely ask me some questions as well. How many people here are looking for residential, and how many are investors? It is about 99% people that want to be residential. There's not many investors around here. Virginia, DC are not great investment areas unless you have cash and you want to buy, like something like that. But mainly, I would say about 90%, 95% are actually going to be real buyers and not that are living here full time. We have a crazy home ownership rate. I think it's something like 80%. I've seen areas where it's only like 50, but it's definitely like 80%. How much are houses in Harper and Woodbridge? That's a good question. Harper and Woodbridge, that's a pretty popular area right now. There's another one over there called, I forget what it is, Potomac something, but that one has been like super popular. What other questions do you guys have for me right now? As far as real estate related, anything coming to the DMV, I am definitely down to talk whatever. We're kind of making this like a freestyle night here. Can we talk about Stafford VA and Culpeper? Are data centers coming our way? Stafford definitely is getting data centers. They have fully embraced the data center life. They've made it very legislative friendly for data centers. Culpeper, I think, is going to really fight it. But guys, they are definitely coming. There's way too much money involved for the local counties. If you would have told me they would have put it, the biggest one in the United States in Prince William County, I would have said, yeah, right. But they're literally put it right next to the Manassas battlefield. So they are going to be putting data centers pretty much anywhere and everywhere that you can think of. That is my honest opinion. I definitely think anybody that tells you they're not coming, is not it. What happens when the data centers come? I live in Gainesville, and the thing that I don't really like about it is obviously they bring jobs and all that, but like, they put some of them right next to people's houses. Some of these people really would really, should be really upset. I would definitely, think. One thing I want to show you guys really quick. If you go over here and look at the what's going on in the area, there's just some crazy stats right now for average sold prices. And I want to show you guys what I'm looking at. And I pulled this up before, but Fairfax County's average sales price is $840,000 now. It's insane. McLean, $1.5 million. Great Falls, $1.6 million. Chantilly 720, Annandale 700. So I mean, to even get Herndon 705, to even get in Fairfax County is like you're talking $700,000-$800,000. And I did a short on this earlier, but the prices there are really going up. So someone asked me, what happens when the neighbors sell to a data center? Pretty much, yeah. You're going to be getting a lot of with the data centers. Like, I think the good thing is you're not going to get as many houses, right? So it's not going to overcrowd the schools. It's not going to overcrowd the fire department. It's not going to overcrowd the police, all those things. It should in turn bring in more tax revenue. The downside is you're going to have these huge behemoth buildings, and they're already swamping the power grid. And I know in Loudoun County, the power company kind of snuck in and said that the residents are going to have to kick in and make their power bills a lot more as well, on top of the data center. So it's not just like the data centers are going on there. Church Time says, hello, what's going on? What other counties do you guys want me to talk about? What other areas do you guys want me to talk about? What other questions do you have? Someone asked me my favorite restaurant, if I know any good Turkish restaurants. I really don't. I'm like, honestly, you can tell I'm not in shape, and I'm more of like I'm like the most pickiest eater of all time. Looking over real quick at Loudoun County right now. Let's look at some of the average sold prices. Um, Look at this. Aldi 1.1 million, Middleburg $1 million, Great Falls 1.6, Upperville 1.2, Leesburg 900,000, Sterling 710. So a lot of these, man, are just really getting way up there in prices. So uh, the new casino and Woodbridge dumplings that have an impact on housing prices. That one's kind of small, right? Like it's not really huge. I don't think that will really hurt the market. I definitely think MGM over that one's definitely hurt their area over there. I heard that's getting pretty sketchy over there a little bit. If it's something that big, I definitely think it can affect house prices. With like the little like pop-up ones that you're starting to see that aren't as big, I don't think they're going to affect them too much. I don't think it's going to be going up as much, but it'll definitely, it can affect it a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be that bad. How is the Stafford market? Let's take a look. Can you talk about Leesburg in West Virginia? What would you like to know? Like Leesburg definitely is a really popular area. There is a lot more people moving out to West Virginia, but honestly, like West Virginia really isn't that cheap anymore. It's like starting to become like as much as it is in like Winchester, Prince William County. It's becoming just as much as those areas. So Stafford, yeah, let's talk about Stafford. So average price is up 10% to 543,000. And then the one thing that I can always tell, like how I can tell if a market is going to be good or not, is you look at this and the median days on market is only 6 days. So there's just homes are selling really quickly over there. So if it was like a lot higher than this, then you would be really worried, but it's not. It's really quick. When you're talking like 4 or 5 months, it can definitely be good. Yeah, is Charlestown, West Virginia a good place to get an investment property? I would think so. It is. It's close to Winchester. There's a lot of people moving there, but I don't think it's as cheap as it once was. So I would definitely, if I was going to buy an investment property there, I would make sure that the numbers made sense. So need some more info about Jefferson, Virginia. So that's like the one area that's kind of blowing up over by, there's that new community. I've sold 5 homes in there. That area is going to be really popping over there. And that area there's a new neighborhood that's going to be there by that golf course, but the golf course, the guy doesn't want to fix it up. Like he just kind of lets it sit in a bad state, I guess. He doesn't really care. And so but Jefferson's a nice area, close to Warrenton, all that. So yeah, let's check out Culpeper. So someone on Instagram's asking me to check out Culpeper. And the thing with Culpeper is there's some pretty affordable new homes out there. Whoops, share screen. There's some pretty affordable new homes out there. It's just you gotta go like it's Ryan mainly is one of them, and then there's some other ones, but that can be a heck of a commute going out there. Sorry guys, I messed up my thing here. So let's take a look at this, right? So someone asked me about Culpeper County average sold prices. Let's take a look. So the county's only about even 458,000. Culpeper's 436, and then Jefferson's up to 760. That's because that new construction where there's like a lot of like big, huge homes. So as the prices a lot of the people are wanting to be a little bit closer into Arlington and Alexandria. What I'm noticing, and that's affecting some of these like far, far out areas. And then they really got to fix that 29 where it gets bottlenecked. So where is the best place to buy a home under 500,000? Winchester, Stephen City, Front Royal, or maybe Locust Grove? We are looking to move to Virginia. I really like the Winchester, Stephen City area. That area is the fastest growing area in all of Virginia. I like Old Town Winchester. That area is really popular. A lot of people moving there from Loudoun County, all those other areas. And so the guy that said, hey, I have tours in Jefferson. You should hit me up. We can definitely love to help you out. So I like that Winchester Front Royal. I've done a bunch of videos. You can get new construction out there. Front Royal area, I really like as well. That area got a little weird, though. There's a lot more Airbnb action going on. And then Linden. Front Royal can also be a little deceiving because you can buy a house, but then you're on top of a mountain, you know, and like you get off 66 and you drive 20 minutes up a mountain. So I would probably lean towards that Winchester, Stephen City, Locust Grove, and all that can be good as well. That gets a little further out there. So really would depend on like what your personal preference is. Definitely shoot me a message, info@colganteam.com, or you guys can always message me anytime. I'd love to talk to you more offline. But I would say Winchester, Stephen City, Front Royal would be my go-to for under 500,000, or maybe even Culpeper. It would depend on the commute and all that you have as well. You know, that's going to play a big part on it. What other questions do you guys have for me? Don't sleep on Northern Neck. How far is Winchester from DC? That's a pretty good move. Pretty good move. Pretty good drive. I mean, that's going to be like an hour to 15, hour 30. That's going to be tough. You know, that's a tough drive. What is the closest area DC that you can find a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house for under 700,000? So you're looking, if you're going to be under 700, townhouse, you're going to be like Fairfax, Herndon, Haymarket, Ashburn. Single family is going to be a little tough. I mean, there you can slip in like Woodbridge, you know, some areas you can definitely do it. It'll be a little bit tougher, but probably like the closest you can get in is like Herndon, Fairfax, Springfield. We deal a lot with off-market properties. So if you're really looking for something, I can probably find you a good deal. Definitely just shoot me a DM, but those are going to be like your best areas as well. I'll be in the future. I'll be moving from UK to Virginia after I get dual citizenship. That's great to hear. Yeah, we have a lot of people moving here from Australia lately, I noticed. And so, we have a lot of people moving from UK and Australia here recently. How are the taxes in Winchester, Virginia? I think it's a lot more comparable to. It's a little bit cheaper. But, you know, one thing that I would keep in mind is that as the housing prices go on and they have to build more schools, this happened in Gainesville and Haymarket when it blew up back in the day, then the county has to start building more schools, and then they just raise the tax rate. So eventually they're going to catch up to other areas. So it may look cheaper now and a little bit more deceiving. That's one of the downside that someone told me about West Virginia is it's not natural gas. It's all like electric, I guess. I don't know much about that. I don't know much about the West Virginia market, but what are my thoughts on Woodbridge and Dale City? Really good area, really good location. You know, the thing with Woodbridge, Dale City, there's a lot of new things going on over there. You know, you've got like Port Potomac, you've got all kinds of brand new neighborhoods, Potomac Shores. That area is really good. It's off of 95, really convenient location. So that area can definitely be good. Where do I think most appreciation will be in the next 5 years? The closer that you get into DC, the better. That's like how it always has been. The closer you are to Arlington and Alexandria, because what happens is most people that get job transfers here, they don't get told, hey, you're getting a new job in Culpeper. They don't get told you're getting a new job in Haymarket. It's either you're working for Amazon Web Services in Arlington, or you're working at Capital One in McLean area, Tyson's. And they don't really know the area because Northern Virginia is kind of not like a New York City where there's just one thing. It's all spread out. So the closer you get in, the better. But I tend to think, you know, anywhere around here is not a bad. They're not building any more property around here. The data centers have definitely flipped the lid on properties here. And there's just not, I mean, I couldn't even tell you one large tract neighborhood being built around here anymore. I mean, there's not. There's not any that are more than like 100 homes. I couldn't tell you one, unless you get out towards Winchester, Culpeper, all those areas. Looking to relocate to job in Culpeper. Yeah, we can definitely help you with rentals. Shoot us a message, info@Colgan Team. You can also DM me at Chris Colgan Team. You know, we have like 4 million people watching from the DC area on my Instagram. It's insane. So we have a lot of reach if you're thinking about selling your house as well. Hate the data centers. Yeah, data centers are like 50-50. People either love them or they hate them. You know what? I mean, I don't know. They claim they're going to be taking the taxes down. I haven't seen it yet. I've lived here my whole life. So yeah, what other questions do you guys have for me? Like what other areas you want me to talk about? What other markets? I can sit here and talk DMV, real estate. How is the baby? Really good. I don't get as much sleep anymore. Everybody tells you that. And so she's 8 months old. And yeah, I don't get as much sleep anymore. I used to get up, sleep into like 9, and now I get up at 6 a.m. And I should do something productive with that, but I don't. Manassas is a really good market. Old Town Manassas, things like that. They just got to do something about the school system over there. But Manassas is doing well. We'll see what happens if that airport deal actually goes through. So if you're not familiar with it, they're trying to build. There's a terminal there. It's been there since the 90s. A lot of people don't even know this. And there's been a terminal there. My family used to own Colgan Air there for years. My dad sold it. But basically, they did a deal with a company to extend the terminal, then bring in. They're going to try to bring in JetBlue, a couple other airlines. But right now the airline business is not a very profitable business, so it's going to be. I'll be curious to see if they'll be able to convince some of the airlines to do it. That's not the challenge. You also have to get it approved by the FAA and the TSA as well. Someone had asked me about Manassas. Manassas prices are up 6% to an medium sold price of $522,000. With an average sold price of $558,000. And then again, Manassas is a really good market right now because average days on market is 16 and medium days is 6. So, houses are selling in less than almost 2 weeks. So there's just not much inventory over in Manassas. Someone asked me a good question on YouTube. What is the best education ranking site nowadays? All right, so 2 tricks about schools in Northern Virginia. The best one probably is going to be niche.com. Like as a realtor, we're not allowed to really give advice on schools. They don't, it's like a fair housing thing. The biggest thing I'll tell you, like if you're moving to our area, is you want to call the school system and be like, hey, are there any new schools in the pipeline? Are my kids going to be changing schools all the time? Because there's always new schools being built. So like you got to keep that in mind. So you might be having your kids go to one elementary school, and then the next year they change the zoning all around. They've done that a bunch of times. I live in Haymarket, Gainesville area, and like Battlefield High School was one of the most crowded high schools in all of Virginia. And then they built a new high school, Gainesville. So the schools are constantly changing, but niche.com seems to be the one. Any new malls or new developments in Manassas? I think the good days of Manassas or malls are over. You can tell like Fair Oaks is really struggling. And they're, supposedly going to start trying to add some, things into the parking lot. And then Sterling, the shopping center over there, I always forget the name of it. That one, they're totally turning it around to more of an entertainment complex than a shopping center. Good evening from Kat Harpin in Gainesville. What's up? Dude, Glassblower checking in from New Baltimore, just down the road. What is going on? But yeah, I couldn't imagine any new malls coming in, but Manassas Mall seems to be struggling. If you want to talk about, I don't know if you guys know Manassas well, but right next to Manassas Mall is it's been this farm forever. And they were going to Amazon tried to put a data center there and the county shot it down, which really shocked me because the county will let you put a data center anywhere. And I was like, that would have been one place that you probably should have put one right over there by that Manassas Mall. What other questions do you guys have? What other things? What do I think about tax property auction sites? They're probably a scam, to be honest with you. There's just not much, those sites. There's not many people that are behind on their taxes that don't owe anything on their house. What's going on? I think I know you that asked me about, someone just asked me about Adie. So Adie is definitely really popular right now. Look at this, it's like one thing I look for Adie, there's a lot of new construction. So it's like the average sold price in Adie is up 14% to $1.1 million. So Adie is like a really popular market. Now, here's the insane thing. The average days on market is 5 days on the market, and the medium days is 5 days on the market. So houses in Adie really sell fast. So then we say, okay, cool. Like, why is that? There's just not much for sale over there. And there's just a lot of like new construction and things like that. So Adie is definitely popping. That is for sure. That's one of the better areas. And like back in the day, I used to drive my dad to the airport on Gum Spring Road, and there was like nothing there. And now it's, how do you start with buying a house, and what's the annual income? A lot of it depends on your credit score. You can definitely, Anna, what's up, girl? How you doing? You can definitely, you can definitely get in on something like, and with a good annual income. A lot of it now is going to be on your credit score, because then that's going to affect your rate. So like, even if you have a bad credit score, we can help you get a plan together and figure that out. Most of the time when people have a bad credit score outside of like, messed a bunch of payments, it's because they've run a credit card up too much. So once you pay that down, it makes your credit score go up. But you can definitely, we get a lot of people like making, a lot less than you think into their first house. It's definitely possible, So definitely shoot me an email, info@colganteam.com. What construction over by Wellington Road, United Rentals, that probably is a data center. Pretty much everything in Manassas is a data center. Someone just said Manassas Mall is struggling. Yeah. What credit score? You could be around like 640. It depends on the loan program as well. But we can definitely get you talking to somebody. What do I think about refinancing right now? Probably not a good idea. I mean, unless it wouldn't be a good idea right now. So what is the medium home price in Winchester and Stevens City? That's actually a good question. I'm going to try to guess. I bet it's 380,000. Let's see how good I am. See how much I know this area. So let's check it out. So going over here to Winchester. Now, I think Winchester is going to get more and more expensive, to be honest with you, because there's a lot more new construction in there. So medium, I was a little bit off. Oh, you know what? I would have been right last year. So last year it was 380. Now it's 424. It's up 11%. And then average sold is up to 464,000. Now, here's the thing, though, right? Like when we looked at Adie, the average days on market was 5 days, and Winchester it's 38. So like Winchester's a pretty big area, right? But like obviously, the closer you get into DC, the quicker things move. So like things do take a little bit longer to sell out there. But yeah, so it's around. I would imagine the next couple of years it'll be around 550 to 600, somewhere around there. Percyville, you know what? Me and my guy, we're about to go out soon and do a video on Western Loudoun. We just got way backed up. It takes like these YouTube videos when I'm out and about that they take so much like shooting and editing. Percyville is up 9%. Average sales price of $991,000. That is just insane. And then average days on market 16 days, median days on market 6 days. So 634. You know what? That's not a bad score. We can definitely help you get that up. Western Loudoun's got to be 800 to 700. How much should I have saved for a house around $700,000 to $800,000 house? So you can do like a 5% down conventional, or you can do an FHA, which is going to be like 3.5% down. But the problem is going to be like the FHA, the rate isn't going to be as good as the conventional. So we can definitely like help you with that. But yeah, like 5% down would be like a good one. But you got to get to about like 20% down to get rid of 20% of like a threshold to get rid of PMI insurance. So the thought would be, hopefully your house goes up. If you put down 5, then you get up to about 20% of equity, and then you can get rid of that PMI some way or another. Yeah, I'm actually working on Maryland. I have referral partners there. We can definitely help you there as well. Thoughts on Warrenton, Virginia? I really love Warrenton. A lot of things going on there. I think that they think they're going to not get the data centers there, and they are. I think that they're in for a big surprise. But Warrenton's a great market. It's not cheap. Everyone thinks it's cheap for some reason, but it's not a cheap area. Warrenton's also, it's about as much as Gainesville and Haymarket is as well. So Warrenton definitely can be pretty expensive. What type of loan should a first-time home buyer apply for? So I would do like an FHA or a conventional. Right now, if you were to do like a grant program through the state of Virginia, or to be like 100% financing, the rate is just not going to make any sense. Like the rate's going to be ridiculous. And so you're better off doing like, I can connect you with people, but it's like a 3.5% down to like a 5% down. And you got to imagine most people around here don't have, $200,000-$300,000 laying around unless they sell a place, so you can definitely, get into one like 3.5% to 5% down. And we can try to get the seller to get it. How's Paceville? I'm not sure where that's at. Where is Paceville located? What other questions do you guys have for me? Like I said, if you're thinking about selling your home or buying a home anywhere here in the Virginia area, we have 4 million people a week watching. So you know that I can get some eyes in front of your house. We'd love to have you help you out with that. So someone was asking me, we got a ton of people asking me questions on Instagram right now. So with Leesburg, it's a little bit harder for me to like adjust these out. So someone's asking me what's the average townhome price in Leesburg, and you know what? Let's find out. So you know, yeah, Leesburg is getting expensive. So is Sterling. You know, they're not cheap areas by any means. So one thing that I'll kind of look at when I pull up those areas is, and this thing kind of went away, but the average townhome is around 680,000 over in Leesburg right now. For some reason my window wouldn't go over. So yeah, that's probably about Sterling, like 650 to 680. But you got to imagine too, like somebody called me up the other day for a free home value, and they had a $1.9 million townhome in Leesburg. I don't know if you've ever seen those before. Those things are nuts, and they're like huge, right on that golf course area. Single house in Centerville, VA loans. Yep, we can definitely help you with that. Single families in Centerville are good. Yeah, I know. 5% down, a $4,500 mortgage payment. Geesh, yeah, I know. So my suggestion, my thought is that basically once the election starts to kick up, they're going to have to start kicking the rates back down again. And then obviously there's a lot of like turmoil going on in the Middle East, things like that. They had a number that they thought the jobs market would go down, and it didn't. And so then they kind of left. The last meeting they had, the Fed had, they were like, oh, we don't know what we're going to do. We might leave it. And then the stock market's been slowly going down since then. And then the rates are now, 7.25%. Now, that doesn't mean your rate is going to be 7.25%. If you, depending on your credit score, it could be actually lower than that. But yeah, I know some of these mortgage payments are getting up there, especially when you consider the insurance, the taxes, the HOA fee, all those other things. But I don't know if I see it getting, much cheaper around here. They're just not building much more property. And I'm going through, we got a ton of questions in here. What other questions? We got a lot of people watching now on YouTube. I've already gone 30 minutes. What other questions do you guys have for me? What other topics do you guys want me to talk about video-wise here on YouTube? A lot of people ask me, hey, they see me on the streets and like, hey, do you talk about this? Can you talk about that? The number one area that I get asked to do videos on is Western Loudoun and Springfield, Virginia. And we just had to go through a 2-month process with the FAA to get approved to fly a drone, not me, but a professional drone guy in Springfield. It was a huge nightmare. Are assumable loans a real thing, and can you get a better rate? They are a real thing. They're not as common as people think they are. Like, it's because the problem is like the buyer is going to have to pay the difference between the seller's loan and then the sales price. That's one thing, right? So the buyer has to have a bunch of cash. The other thing is if the person has a VA loan and then a buyer assumes it, then basically that person's lost that amount of money in VA eligibility. So say they had a 1.5 million in VA eligibility and their loan 600,000 and they let someone assume it, they've lost that 600,000 in eligibility. So that definitely can hurt you. If I bought a home if I take a job in Culpeper or leave in Pennsylvania, would you recommend staying in Culpeper area in terms of, yeah, for sure. I mean, if you're going to be working in Culpeper, I definitely wouldn't go anywhere else. Like I would stay in that Culpeper area. There's kind of not much around it, to be honest. Like Warrenton would be your best closest closest area. But I would definitely just buy in there because it's going to be more affordable. And then like you're not going to have like a crazy commute and all that. But Culpeper is a good area, like a really nice downtown. What are the best communities for a young family in Fredericksburg? That's a good question. There's plenty of good communities in Fredericksburg. Off the top of my head, I couldn't throw out many, but if you definitely shot me a message, we could definitely talk to you more about that. But there's a lot of big and good communities over in Fredericksburg and Stafford, especially. There's just like so many I can name, I can't even name right now. I'm going to talk more about VA construction loan. Construction loans can be tough. That's they can a little bit be tough to get. Like you got to have a lot of cash to put down, or you got to be backed by like a big local builder or something like that that's got the money to do it. But yeah, well, I appreciate you watching all the way from Great Britain. Is that where you're at right now? Man, you are out there. It's I guess it's getting pretty late out there. Any other questions before I sign off, guys? We've been going on for 35 minutes. I appreciate you guys watching. We've had a lot of activity tonight. Let me know in the comments where you guys are watching from. Where are you guys at? So, yeah, that's a good question. Are builders really offering low interest rates? I see some advertised. So, what that is, it's the mortgage back, it's a buy down program. So, what they'll do is they'll say, hey, we can get you 4%. So, what it is it's like 4.5% the first year. Then it goes up to 5.5% year two. And then year three, it goes to the current rate at the time. And then the hope is within 2 or 3 years, the rates are down and then you could actually refinance again. And then you wouldn't be like in a bad spot. So they're not really doing it like crazy. Now, I have seen some of them offer like $50,000 to get you a crazy rate buy down, but depends on how desperate that builder is. But a lot of them have had properties be selling so fast that I haven't seen any do any of that here recently. But guys, I'm going to hop off. Thanks for watching again. I appreciate it. And I'll be dropping some big videos here on YouTube, and definitely keep watching us on Instagram.